Jonathan Edwards, had a great American influence. Something I think that we fail to realize sometimes just in passing without taking a class like this is that he had a great European influence too, and I think that none is more evident than in Scotland. Um, in Edwards' letter, Faithful Narrative of the Surprising Works of God, in 1736, he said, God made it, I suppose, the greatest occasion of awakening to others, if anything that ever came to pass in the town. I think that resonated with Scottish people, particularly John Erskine, who was his Scottish contact, who was also a pastor, actually started life thinking he was going to be a lawyer, following in his father and grandfather's footsteps. But he was ended up hearing God's call to preach and be a pastor in Scotland. The first excerpt of A Faithful Narrative was published in Scotland in 1737. There was different language. It was translated into German and Dutch and 13 different English copies. Also with several different versions, or not versions, but revisions. Edwards' first biographer, Samuel Hopkins, stated that Edwards had the applause and admiration of America, Britain, Holland, and Germany, and has been honored above most others in the Christian world. His own great-grandson, Cyrano E. Dwight, wrote in 1830 that Edwards' works had gained him a reputation for powerful talents both in Europe and America, which left him without a competitor neither in the colonies nor in the mother country. Of Edwards' transatlantic importance, both Hopkins and Dwight make the point that Edwards' ties with Scotland were by far the most significant, and that was an article by Christopher Wayne Mitchell, titled Jonathan Edwards' Scottish Connections in the 18th Century Scottish Evangelical Revival. I think Edwards had a huge part in that revival because of his relationship with John Erskine, which Dr. Toby Easley said it eventually kindled a true kindred spirit through Edwards' writings on the American spiritual awakening and Erskine's generosity to send European books. So Edwards was fascinated with European theology, and Erskine was fascinated with Edwards' American Puritanism. In that same article, Dr. Easley quotes Jonathan Yeager saying, to use only a few subordinate points to support one main argument. That was very confusing. Yeager was describing Erskine's ability to use only a few subordinate points to support one main argument, as opposed to Puritans of the time and most Calvinists today, who like to go on and on and on trying to explain the mysteries of God. The relationship, I think, is best characterized, the relationship between Edwards and Erskine, between how they related to each other in a letter that Edwards wrote to Erskine, and in which he in sadness expressed this sentiment here: I desire your fervent prayers for me and those who have heretofore been my people. I know not what will become of them. There seems to be the utmost danger that the younger generations will be carried away with Arminianism as with a flood. His concern for his people and his congregation, the younger generation of it, was echoed across the Atlantic to his friend Erskine for brotherly love and prayers.